Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're out the range to do some more suppressor testing, and today we have the YHM Turbo K. K meaning short. For whatever reason, we have adopted the Kurtz designation for short things here in the United States, and so this one is slightly shorter than the Turbo, which preceded it. And here's a Turbo, and you can see them side by side. The Turbo is just about an inch longer. Now, both of these silencers have their baffles welded. If you run your finger across the top of them, you can feel the welds. So the baffles are welded together, so it's kind of a unibody, if you will. And this thing is made out of 17.4 Inconel, and it is about 5.5 inches in length. And then the diameter of the suppressor is just a little over 1.5 inches, 1.56 inches in diameter. So when you order one of these, it will come with a muzzle device. We have the muzzle device on here. It doesn't matter how it's timed. So it does not come with an adapter for direct thread. It will come with the muzzle device, and you're looking at about $375 for the muzzle device and the can, and that's actually a really, really good price for a centerfire rifle suppressor. So when you put it on the gun with its mount, listen very carefully. Hear how it ratchets into place. That ratcheting lets you know that it's locking down. You don't want to over torque it. And once it's ratcheted down, it won't back off with use, especially if you really torque down that muzzle device. So it's a nice design. All right, so today we're going to do some shooting. We're looking at about anywhere from right now 5-mile-an-hour winds. It sometimes gusts up to 9 miles an hour. And we're at 64.3 degrees right now, so it's getting warmer. So let's get our testing started. We have the rifle 1.6 meters off the deck, and we have this the pressure sensor 1 meter left of the muzzle for our testing. I'm going to load up a magazine really quick, and then we'll get our testing started. Let's go ahead and get this test set up. Right now we just have a little over 1 mile an hour wind, which is good. I'm going to chamber 1 of 5 rounds. Go ahead, start our meter here really quick. So we have 146.1 decibels. $140.6 decibels, so it's riding that ragged edge, guys, of what's hearing safe at the muzzle. Wind's picked up to about 5 miles an hour. 142.1. The wind blowing at 6 miles an hour is creating 90 decibels for those of you that think 85 decibels is going to deafen you. 140.6. And 142.8. So that gives us our readings with the Turbo K on a 16-inch barrel firing Federal 223 ammunition. All right, so let's go ahead and take this off and put the original Turbo on this gun and see what it meters at and see what the difference is in terms of decibels. YouTube has given us new functionality. Previously, YouTube had demonetized our content with a bunch of other channels out there, but they gave us new functionality recently, which is the join button, which you'll see right underneath the video player. Check out that join button, give it a click, check out some of the perks that we have available, everything from emojis and live chat to private blog posts and behind the scenes pictures from our video shoots, all the way up to at our highest level, being able to do a Skype call with yours truly. So click that button, check it out, and consider supporting us here at the Military Arms Channel, because we're supported by you, not by the silencer companies. The muzzle device that comes with the Turbo or the Turbo K is the same muzzle device. So we're not going to have to change out muzzle devices. Again, the regular Turbo ratchets on just like its little brother. Don't over torque it. She's all locked in, ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and reset up the meter here. Five rounds of Federal 223. Just closing the bolt, by the way, at 1 meter left of the gun was 114 decibels. I'll go ahead and re-zero that. Ambient noise is right around 70 decibels. First shot. 137.8. 138.9. 139.2. 139 flat. 139.3. So this can, with its extra inch in length, is actually a little bit more quiet than its K brethren. So now we're going to set up a different test. Testing at 1.6 meters off the deck and 1 meter left is an old arbitrary number. Very few people shoot their rifle like this. So the US government has adopted a new threshold standard, which is 6 inches off the shooter's right ear. And why is that? Well, this number is easy to regulate as a suppressor manufacturer. All you have to do is make the tolerances tighter and tighter, allowing less and less gas to escape around that bullet. Well, the gas that can't escape out the end of the barrel is going to go somewhere, and that somewhere is right back down the barrel and out the ejection port, which we call ejection port pop. And that's right next to the shooter's ear, and that's what's going to cause you hearing damage, and that's why the US government now measures 6 inches off the shooter's right ear. So let's go ahead and move the pressure sensor over here, and let's see what the K and the Turbo give us in terms of performance. All right, guys, as the day gets later, it's now 64 degrees outside, so it's really warming up, especially for a December day. And we're still running right around 5-mile-an-hour winds. We have the pressure sensor set up so it's actually 6 inches off the buffer tube. The reason why is because ears move, and I want to get an accurate measurement, so we always measure from the stock, and the shooter's ear usually hovers right around that point. Okay, so you can see how it lines up. Let's go ahead, load the weapon, reset our meter. .2. So 140 decibels is the threshold for OSHA within a 24-hour period. One shot at 140 decibels is all that's hearing safe. Anything over that starts to cause hearing loss. Repeated shots at 140 decibels causes hearing loss. Let's go ahead, reset the meter. .5. Now this is the full-size turbo. This is not the K. I forgot to mention that before we started shooting. So again, 142.5 decibels at the shooter's ear. .8. Now something else that factors into this is the actual operating mechanism of the firearm. Just dropping the bolt can actually be well over 100 decibels. So .1. 140.3. So actually, that's a fair number. That's a good number for a 5.56 rifle with a 16-inch barrel with a full-size centerfire suppressor on it. So we're hovering right around 140 decibels, which is what I would expect. All right, so let's go ahead and take the turbo off, put the K on in its place, and let's see what the K does and how it performs. Gonna go ahead, put our Turbo K on. Nice coarse thread, so it sets screws on very quickly. All right. And now I'm gonna show you guys something. The bolt's locked to the rear. I'm gonna reset our sound meter. I'm gonna stop talking, and I want you to hear what the bolt closing sounds like, which most of you have heard an AR-15 bolt close before, but I want you to see what it measures on the sound meter at the shooter's right ear. .122.4 decibels. All right, so just ambient noise, no talking, just the wind and sounds in nature will oftentimes be anywhere between 75 and 90 decibels. In a good wind, it'll be even over 90 decibels. So a lot of people misunderstand decibels and how they work and how sound works. Sound is really nothing more than pressure. And so I thought that'd be interesting to show you. I'm gonna show you one more thing. I'm gonna reset the meter and I'm gonna just flip the safety lever from safe to fire. I want you to see this. It's currently on safe. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to select it to, or flip it to fire. (104 decibels). So 104 decibels just taking the safety off safe and into the fire mode. All right, so enough fun. Let's get back to the meat and potatoes here. I have 5 rounds of the Federal 223 loaded up. Let's go ahead, lock the bolt to the rear since I dropped it. Put the weapon back on safe. Chamber round, put it on fire. And here we go. 5 rounds with the Turbo K. (140.7). (143.6). It's pretty loud. (138.8). (140.2). (141.8). So when we average those out, it might, because we had that 138 in there, it might average out to be about the same. So again, performance as I would expect it from a traditional baffled can. In the past, YHM, pretty much the only thing you could ding them for was their cans being a bit heavy. I weighed this can and it weighed 11 ounces, 11.7 ounces, which isn't horrible. On the end of the rifle, it doesn't add a whole lot of weight. It doesn't make the gun feel unbalanced whatsoever, at least on the AR-15 that we have out here today. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you can see how it's a little bit shorter than its full-size brother. It gave similar performance, so you're really not giving up a whole bunch in terms of overall performance, but yet you're losing an inch of overall length with the K suppressor. It's also nice, I like the trend lately of welding the baffles together. Guys, you don't really need to service a center fire suppressor. By doing this and welding the baffles together, you get rid of the outer sleeve, and that means you get rid of weight. So the 17.4 Inconel suppressor construction means that this thing's going to be very durable, and at $375 with a muzzle device, guys, there's companies out there that'll charge you $100 just for a muzzle device. So at $375 with a muzzle brake and attachment point for this can, that's a darn good price in my opinion. So if you'd like for us to continue bringing you unbiased information like this, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. There is a link down below. And also swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Thanks for 11 years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.